Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Pat and Brands podcast with Pat and
Boomy! We've shared the same sentiment with the issue we're having right now with the cars.
Yo.
We're not okay.
Aye, cars are expensive, guys. Yo. Did they not say we're thinking of the same thing?
Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun.
But yeah, I think the height really doesn't work. The height thing doesn't work in our favor.
This podcast is proudly brought to you by Lerato Agency and Lanala Beauty.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Pat and Brands podcast with Pat and
Boomy! Guys, you're going to have to excuse us. It is a new setup.
Yep.
So we're trying to get, everything sorted. So it could be an every time thing for our candid moments, but this is the homely candid moments.
Absolutely. So now we're having a candid moment. This is the first time, like Boom is saying, we're trying out a new setup whereby we actually on video as well for our YouTube channel. And really, we want you guys to be able to put a face on...
Face to the name to the face.
Absolutely.
Face. Yeah, some gifts.
There you have it. How have you been? Quick check-in.
I've been good. Like I say, you live and learn. Every day there's a cost that you have to take into account. Now we're dealing with public health. So that's something new for those maybe in retail. There's a public health compliance that you have to pay for.
Whoa, wait, you have to pay for?
Oh, yeah, certainly.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, so they come
How
and
much?
they...
Do you know?
So it's about 1.3, I think, and an EMS for about 300, like certificate for about 300 and something.
Sure.
So yeah, it was 1.6, somewhere there.
So what's the rationale behind that?
So basically, I think it's the government just making sure that they're aware that the place that whether it is, I think they have a couple of them. So it's for beauty, it's for anything to do with hygiene, basically, is where then you'd be able to tick a box, you complete the documentation, and then they come and review the place, you make that payment, and then you get a certification. Also for your fire extinguishers, if there's you have to make sure that there's actually the fluid in there so it gets serviced.
Wow.
Yeah, so
I thought it would have had something to do with COVID-19, but
no, this was pre-COVID-19. Now this is just public health compliance with the department.
interesting.
Yeah. And yourself?
I'm not okay. For a change.
Yeah.
Spent so much money today.
Yeah. We've shared the same sentiment with the issue we're having right now with the cars.
Yo.
We're not okay.
Aye, cars are expensive, guys. Yo.
But imagine not having it.
But I filled up.
Yeah.
Like my full tank is almost 1,000 rands now.
Yeah.
You know?
My goodness.
Obviously, those
Just
who drive
get a
from cars and big
picanto.
engine
Just
cars.
get a picanto of,
But even with the picanto, I'm pretty sure now it's like a 700.
GWM, small things. Just fast things. But yeah, but other than that, I think.
So I'm not okay. But all in all, we're busy as a business. We're growing, we're pushing the envelope, we're challenging the norm.
That's amazing.
But yeah, man, Patron Brands. We have a new brand CI, as you might have seen. We have a new positioning, which is being on the pulse with brands. We're doing some amazing things, as Patron Brands. We've got the Patron Brands Awards. You heard it for the first time here.
This is the first time.
First time. We're doing something big in June.
Yeah.
What's the interesting part? So I've been engaging with a lot of brands, right? Trying to get some sponsorships, some partnerships. And this one brand, did they not say we're thinking of the same thing?
Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun. Okay, so pay us the money and let's just continue because we have the IP now.
Exactly, but it's one of those, but it's not easy. I mean, getting brands on board, as you may know, having to convince marketing managers why actually they should be spending money on this new initiative that really not many people know about, and they don't know what the turnout's going to be like. It's the first one we're doing, but, as you know, I never give up. I go.
Even as sitting on this couch was never giving up. But anyway, I mean, I'm super excited for that, for Pattern Brands. I think you did share the vision last year even. So, guys, it's going to be exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, let's go into our brands of the week.
Yeah, brands of the week. There's a lot that's been happening on the world of brands.
Yeah.
You take your paper, I keep mine.
Yes, please.
But really, what's been happening, as you might have seen also on the Pattern Brands page, we shared a lot of brand news. Vaseline, partnering with Linda Mtoba. She's been doing some amazing works with brands.
Yeah.
Last year when she partnered up with Benini.
I think it was.
The cider brand.
Yeah.
So she's really doing some amazing things. So, yeah. So the actress, now brand ambassador, Linda Mtoba, doing amazing things.
Then we have, of course, we did mention the partnership, I think maybe going into arts, collaborations. Yeah. We had Samsung, which collaborated with Ukarabo Poppy. I think
she's now become like the go-to illustrator.
Yeah, because so actually adding to that, I also saw over the weekend Hennessy and NBA. They had
actually I got an invite to that.
Okay.
So
yeah.
A couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
So I know someone there at NBA Africa.
Okay.
She's like, yo, Pat.
Yeah.
You wanna come through? I'm like, yes, sure.
I actually wanted to ask why she's never been on our platform. Anyway.
She will.
Yeah.
Stunning lady.
Yeah.
Very, on the pulse with sports.
Yeah.
I do not know personally. I don't know anyone who's as passionate about sports.
Yeah.
As my friend. For now, we'll call
it's
him
a friend.
It's a friend. She's a friend. I have a. She's like, yo, Pat.
Yeah.
Come through. It was first scheduled to happen on the 4th.
Okay.
4th of March, but then again, I don't know what happened. Then they postponed, and the new date wasn't suitable for me because I'm a busy man. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
So what happened? Were you there? Did you go?
No, I'm not as cool as Pat, guys. Ever since I left Pattern Brands as like the franchise, I just look and
There's
like.
a place for you.
And I look and I like. But anyway, I did see online Cindy saw the creative was the one that who painted the what is it called? The basketball court.
Wow.
I think I just can't remember what he also did previously, but he's also quite a great creative, and it was quite lovely just to see these partnerships with brands and creative coming to life. So yeah.
And it's amazing also, like for example, NBA, we all know it as quite an exclusive sport.
Yeah.
And what they're trying to do right now is actually open up the sport.
Funny enough, I used to watch when I got introduced to seeing basketball. Really, it was on campus, and it would be the African guys playing or the white guys playing.
Absolutely.
So now I was never found there. They were at Matrix at the top, but never at the basketball course. And it was next to the swimming pool, so you can understand it was Caucasians on the side, and then he was tall. And African, like I say.
But yeah, I think the height really doesn't work. The height thing. It doesn't work in our favor because really, if you look at the guys that play basketball, they like towers, they're like towering all over us South African guys. Also, if you look at my brother-in-law, my brother-in-law, my gosh, he's like taller than Carlton Center.
Wow.
But yeah, I guess that's the only thing. But basketball is a beautiful sport, man. It's really cool, it's the association.
Yeah.
And I remember, interesting story. So in 2014, there's a time
you went to sign up.
There was sports was never my thing.
Okay.
I'm not a sportsman,
Okay.
I don't like sports.
Yeah.
I don't watch sports. The only thing that every now and then I take my time to watch is Formula One. I don't know if it counts as like sports in its true sense, but I just like what do you call it? Drive to Survive. Exactly, but I like
Is that a sport? But anyway,
I just like the behind the scenes, what the level of organization that they have to. Season 4 is out. I'm already 6 episodes in.
Wow.
It's really exciting, in terms of like the business side of Formula One.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's a business. And I was thinking that I was like, shucks, man, this was actually strategic. It's content.
I mean, many at times I've seen the just Formula One being used as a anecdote for structure, for teamwork.
Absolutely.
Because I think they have to have a great team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you think about it, also at the end of the day, the main focus is always on the driver.
Sure.
But man, there's a team. I mean, the people that change tires.
Yeah, tires. That split second.
Exactly, and they do like drills before.
Sure.
And to actually count down and have the ideal time.
Yeah.
That they need to complete, like changing the tires
and making sure that it's safe, because
absolutely.
now wheel bearing situation that must be happening.
My brake pads are pelaya. No, my disc. So yeah, it's a really interesting thing, and also sponsorship, because also they speak about that in that Drive to Survive docuseries. And really, for me, those are the things that appeal to me, in terms of content in sports. And the reason why maybe one day I'll have an interest in sports, we're probably looking at it from a marketing perspective.
Sure.
Because at the end of the day, we know that sports attracts numbers.
Yeah.
And people are very passionate about their sport.
Super Bowl.
You know what I mean? And it also turns out to be the biggest marketing spectacle.
Exactly.
Every year.
Yeah. But you were talking about 2014.
2014. So we were running Varsity TV, and at the time, Mbalula was was the Minister of Sports.
Yeah.
And he had quite a big thing around basketball, getting basketball to be like the sports. And they launched, I think it was the National Basketball League. It was NBL.
Wow.
And they used to play at Wembley in the south. You don't know Wembley? Not Wimbledon, Wembley. Wembley Stadium.
Wimbledon would be tennis, but okay.
Wembley Stadium in the south.
Oh.
So then they came to us as Varsity TV because we had a reach and we were on the pulse with the students.
Sure.
So then we would organize, buses. Then we have to get students to go watch basketball. And it was very nice, I mean, during the break or halftime, there'll be performances, celebrities who were attending, Wopel 2C.
Okay.
And then when
what's the thing?
Kirex was, at his prime, he was there as well. You look here, honey.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so yeah, I was quite involved in the sport in terms of driving it, but I don't know, budgets ran out. That guy who hired us, took forever to pay us, Actually, I must go back to Facebook and just find those posts. Yeah, we design posters to get students to,
to join and
and go watch the NBL. So, yeah, basketball is very close to my heart.
So he says. Anyway, I think to also include now, I think we mentioned how NBA is bringing about a flair and bringing about the game to South Africa.
Yeah.
I think also we're looking out into brands that have actually played a part in the Ukraine and the Russian war. It's something
Don't call it war. You'll get arrested.
Fight.
Invasion. No, military operation.
So
yeah, it's an interesting thing. And also like another because for me now as a marketer, as a communicator, I take keen interest on the narrative that is being pushed.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just that like if we think about like what Russia has been saying and what they've been doing, the inconsistencies
of both.
Remember when they got close to the border in December? They're like, no.
We're just watching.
We're testing our new fleet of cars that they're moving in the right direction.
Gandhi.
They went in. No. This is not war.
It's just saying hi.
Hi.
Ta-da! We are here.
Then we are here.
Then boom. I just
no. We're just targeting military sites and we're not gonna attack civilians and critical infrastructure like hospitals and
Then it was a hospital
Boom.
last
Then it was a
week.
kid hospital.
Yeah.
A children's hospital.
Yeah.
So it's just the power of narrative, you know. It's just an interesting one. Because now also, before we were told that actually like sports doesn't take sides, is not involved in politics and
Yeah.
And
But now I think such a big thing does require brands to take a stance. I think we'll share a bit about.
But then again, there's that whataboutism.
As in, just keep quiet.
Palestine and Israel, Libya, DRC, Congo Brazzaville.
I think we can't lie to say they will be key players in economics, in how the world runs. And I think if USA, for example, Russia, these are big guns. You know, some other countries are...
No, they're not big guns. They are white.
Okay. All I'm just saying is that there are countries that will move.
Yeah.
There
was this video that Trevor Noah touched on.
Yeah.
Saying, it was like a summary, like reporter saying, this is not some country in Africa. This is Europe.
Yeah.
You
Unfortunately.
know, this is not Afghanistan. You know?
Yeah.
This is Europe. So, meaning that, at Grand Sharp, Putin never has this. You know, Putin is an embarrassment to the European continent because now the world is looking at them like,
Now what do you have to say?
What do you have to say? We thought war is a black thing or is an Asian thing.
Yeah.
So there's those parts, but also we saw brands, you know, getting involved. But also, if you look at the brands that are also getting involved, where are they from?
Yeah. I mean, they are from there. You know, others are from the US and so forth. I know that we were looking at reports where they were saying which brands have actually either pulled out. I was reading an article where I think, not to be quoted, I think just over 800 stores in McDonald's stores rather, were shut. You know, because it was sort of a sanction for them, is to say that 800 of these stores, and they're still paying the employees, as they say in Russia, but they are also then pulling out from investment in the country at the moment. So I can imagine how many billions they are losing because they're taking a stance. You know?
Yeah, but also the interesting thing is that who would have thought in 2022 we'll have a war in Europe?
And I mean, we used to read about World War I, World War II, you know, the Great Depression, etc., etc. But it seemed too far-fetched. And I remember when it was, the next war will be because of water, you know?
Absolutely.
But yet now, I think resources will always be something that we fight for.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think more than anything, that's where we find ourselves, you know, as a people, you know? And the war is wrong. Yeah. You can't condone it, obviously. I mean, when there's innocent people dying, it's just not right.
Yeah.
But politics will be politics. Tomorrow, there'll be a different narrative and there'll be something else. And for me personally, it's very unfortunate what's happening in Ukraine. And hopefully they find a resolution. Today there was the 4th round of negotiations. 4th.
Look, I mean, I remember when I wanted to go to South Korea, and I used to look at.
South Korea.
I used to look at because it was when the tensions between North Korea and South Korea had heightened.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, Lord, can they not fight? Like, can they wait? Perhaps can the North Korean, and because when they fringe. I had done a fringe, and my dad always said and that president was from North Korea, same WhatsApp group, because, you know. But, every time, because they'll be testing missiles, or they'll be just, you know, boom, just play, you know, sometimes.
Just testing if these things
are
working.
But I read about him, and I was like, I go right, so it's a lot. But I think summary of this is that brands need to kind of, they also have to take a stance. And I think a lot of articles also have kind of shunned upon brands that didn't take a stance, that are still operating. Whilst they still understood that other brands, you know, that that people live off of. For example, I know such brands like Mondelez, I think they still carried on. They just like, listen, Oreos is a big thing here, so we gotta move, y'all.
Milk,
you know, we're gonna do it. But I think there's another brand that only was supplying the food for babies and not necessarily other brands. I'll just confirm that. But so other brands, you know, unfortunately were
and also I mean, as an entrepreneurship platform as well as a business platform, I mean, there's billionaires that are losing money.
So it's not just that decision. I mean, also, I think an article did mention that you must remember that it's, even if we say, okay, our stance is to say, no, we are not going to invest or we're going to stop business. There's so many people who are relying on that.
Absolutely.
So it means that these people now are suffering. It means that now and like I say, McDonald's was like, okay, we'll pay you guys, but for how long?
Absolutely.
You know, are they going to pay?
It's not sustainable.
It's not sustainable.
I mean, Johan Rupert also said, hey, lost a bit of money.
Yeah.
You know, in this war.
Yeah.
So obviously, like it's a war. At the end of the day, there will be casualties, right?
No, certainly. And I think physical and financially. And I mean, here they said the oil is finishing. It's becoming little. It's going to be 10 million. So already people are like, we're going to walk to work. So you can imagine people walking into the suburbs.
It's just crazy. I mean, look, like I say, the reason why I'm not okay today, I filled up and it's almost $1,000, you know.
Yeah.
And I guess also complaining doesn't help. We just need to make way more money than we do now. You know, Eskom also is another one, you know, in terms of load shedding. So, we are headed to the hills.
But we live.
And also, in all of this, you know, we just need to find joy and be able to live, you know. Interesting thing, actually, just today, ABSA, you know, reported their results.
Yeah.
They doubled their profits in a pandemic.
But yeah, man.
In a pandemic. And also, if you look at like brands like luxury brands, you know.
Porsche, I think the irony is that brands actually have performed better than expected.
Yeah.
You know?
In the midst of a pandemic.
Yeah. It's crazy.
What does that tell us?
It means that we have money, guys.
There's money. It's just
it's somewhere, man.
It's somewhere. It's exchanging hands.
Yeah.
It's moving in different directions, but it is there. And I guess the challenge is to find that pot.
Yeah. I mean, bringing it back home, I think we've mentioned something similar, or we've mentioned about Operation Tutula, and I think we should catch up on it because, I mean, this is now a war here in South Africa. You know, I was saying to you, Pat, that I remember I was in an Uber last week, and whilst we had spoken about it a while ago, it only clicked again to say, because it wasn't hitting home, you know, and I wasn't watching the news per se just to see because there's too many depressing things.
Yeah.
But now when I went to Google now and really just caught up on what was happening, I was like, oh, actually, this thing is happening.
Sure.
You know, where, you know, they're going to stores, and then there's another sort of group, not they don't call themselves Operation Tutula, but they are, I don't know, another ops unit of Tutula. But they actually are going now and they, you know, shutting the shops, they taking people out. And they're saying that, listen, if you don't have papers, you must leave.
Sure.
And I think they said now they're going to bring it to the suburbs in a sense that they'll be checking at the shops to say that, you know, of the people who are working in the restaurants, you know, are they South African? Do they have papers? I don't know how far that's going to go. But
so I guess what Juju set the trend in terms of going to EFF rather, going to shops and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, at the end of the day, I think it's pretty clear that the government's failure, you know, or the public officials' failure to maintain law and order in this country, you know, has led us where we are today, and it's very unfortunate that. I mean, innocent people, innocent civilians, you know. I think more than anything, without sounding like I'm picking any sides and whatnot, but I mean, if I came here and I set up a business and I created employment, whether I came in legally or illegally, really at the end of the day, it's immaterial. But then again, on the other side, I'm like, We don't go to Nigeria and set up shop there illegally. You know?
I don't know. Is it because maybe...
because everyone is coming down south. No one's going up north.
Sure.
And obviously, at the end of the day, it means that South Africa now is carrying a much bigger weight. It's carrying the whole continent, technically. And resources are very limited. And I think more than anything, it's a fight of resources.
Yeah. For me, and I have to, because now this is on video and, we're going to be last thing and all. I think for me, it would be, the thought is, should opportunity be available?
Yeah.
Do we take it? I think because I'm trying to weigh up this person that has opened the shop illegally, how have they managed to? So I think that's a start to say, okay, so it means that entry barriers either are low or not there.
Or not there.
And then two, but I think for them to start from having a vision to say, okay, when I get there, this is what I'm going to be doing. We're here, and what is it maybe that we're not getting, maybe to be able to have that, open a shop like that, or what? And I mean, look, finances play a role. But what is it maybe that we're not zealous enough? And I ask because even in Nigeria, I've seen how they are very much... they're not personal people. They'll shout now and move on, but they get things done. It's like, let's do what we have to do. Another irony is that, whilst we're there in Nigeria, I remember them saying that those who are coming to South Africa are the ones who are silly. Us here, we are nice people. We are not going to be doing that to you, my sister. Yeah. We are very nice. We take care of our people. We take care of everybody. But now everybody else who has come to South Africa, they are giving us a bad name. So that's quite interesting to hear, the contrast of these two people. But I always then ask myself to say, okay, cool. Once they go, do we take over and do we actually manage now?
But
do
also,
we work? Do we...
Another thing is that we the ones that are giving them shops.
Yeah.
Like the sponsor shops, the sponsor shop industry, the supermarkets, the general dealers that were in the township. They didn't take them by the barrel of the gun. Let's be honest. We South Africans gave up the shops, the spazas, Now we're giving them rooms. Actually, over the weekend, I spent some time with my friend. He grew up in Soweto in Netherlands, then stayed in, what's this? Bramfisher. So now obviously he's out of the hood.
In the north.
And now he bought a house and he's like, he went to the hood the other day and he was called Mafigizolo by some foreign guys.
Hey, you must be
exactly. And he's like, I grew up here, but now he's like, dude, the foreigners have taken over, are taking over. The one that's renting in our house there doesn't even greet me. Just walks in and out.
This mouse.
Exactly. And obviously those are some of the things that, catch people offside, that also sometimes when you go into someone's house, obviously you gotta acknowledge them, at least.
I think the notion is when in Rome, do what Romans do.
Absolutely.
I think, and I've seen it also in traveling, is that you'll never find me sidestepping. It's not my place. It's not my yard. It's not my grandfather. Nobody. So act like what they saying, So it's that thing, Yoguti. I don't know if we've also allowed it or we were too laissez-faire, where we get bulldozed, in our space.
So more than anything, I think that where the challenge is that, this thing is very complex to begin with. It's a complex issue. It's very layered, but at the core of it, there needs to be some certain level of willingness and intent in terms of where do you want to see ourselves as a people.
Yeah.
And I think more than anything, really, the idea that, someone is going to come and save us, we need to forget about it.
Yeah.
There's no one who's going to come and create employment for us, save us as South Africans, give us money. Someone said, it's 350 also. it's a bit of an issue. You know, if you look at the hood or where people stay, it's filthy, it's dirty. But there are people who are getting money for not doing anything, really. You're just going to stand in the queue, collect that money, and it's okay. You know, and I think also more than anything, people need to have a sense of pride. You know what I mean? Especially if you're young, you're energetic, you've got a brain, you've got hands, you can walk, you can do something.
Yeah.
For you to stand in the queue and expect someone to give you money rather than just hustling and making something out of nothing.
And no doubt there is those who are hustling. I remember where we, take our tech used to wash. It's a guy, I think it was it pre-COVID? I can't remember. I think it was pre-COVID.
Yeah.
But literally had a little like shelf outside on the road. And he was washing with the bav, shoes. And I was like, this guy is, now he has a bit of a tentish vibe. The shelf is grown. Now he's having shoes. But this is a guy that I suppose was like, listen, there's no jobs. I think he comes from Soweto, and then he was washing shoes in Emiadale. And we would drop our shoes, wash the shoes, get the shoes whenever we're getting them, 2 days later, 3 days later. But this is a guy who's like, listen, I tried, or I'm trying to find, and don't even think, I think job market is difficult even when you've studied. So what more when you haven't studied?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So it's not an easy place in terms of job market. It's not that even those who are creating jobs, it's not an easy, because funding maybe is not there. So there's also barriers from credit availability to just the modus operandi of the business. I think we've shared how, for example, we were going into media buying, but because the capital amounts are quite huge, because we are not on a credit with suppliers, just that function between you becoming a media buyer, having a supply, etc. Of course, you're going to be bulldozed by big brands that are who have media buying relations, because they have big pockets,
Yeah.
And they can move around funds. They get paid there. They move that there, And even them, mind you, they also, they're like, but you're a big account. So do you mind giving us 50% perhaps? Because,
Exactly.
So what more?
They're spending a lot of money with you.
Yeah. So I think it's a universal issue, is what I'm trying to refer to in terms of, but I think even with that being said, we also need to kind of have that action, that mentality of be found doing, in a sense, be found doing. Let it not be that you're sitting and awaiting. I think opportunity means preparedness.
Absolutely.
You're always preparing for something, for your greatness, towards your greatness. And I think we can give government a break to a certain degree where they have tried to play a part in them saying...
Also, remember that guy, what's his name? The one that turned 350 in 2000s.
So, like fish and bread story.
The guy that the president was talking about in Soweto, I forgot the brand name. He started selling ice cream.
From 350?
From the 350.
Wow, look at that.
But obviously, look, you need to be very prepared.
Yeah.
And you need to have... it's some mindset. For me, I think the biggest thing is the mindset.
Mindset shift.
Mindset shift. Because even if you have a degree and you studied, but if you feel like someone's going to come and give you a job, you're not going to get it anyway. But if you say, okay, I've got a degree, with the knowledge that I have, with the comprehension that I have, I can see that actually there's a gap somewhere, and I can, actually do something out of it. There's people and also South Africa has a myriad of challenges and problems. And if you pick one, there's a guy I heard today on the radio, actually in Alberton. It's the South Side! Yeah. Apparently there's a man there at the Home Affairs there. So Home Affairs.
It's a queue. And now is he the one that pays to queue? You pay him to queue for you?
And no, he brings in chairs.
Oh, Oh, you hire.
You hire a chair.
I think I've heard also with umbrellas, because sometimes when it's raining or it's hot, so you just get, I think it was 10 rand an umbrella. You rental.
So you rent a chair for like 5 rands. It's got many chairs. Sometimes he runs out. Here's an opportunity and he's solving it.
Sure.
Here's a problem and
he's solving it.
Some people can't stand for too long. There's old ladies and
they'll complain, but they'll rent it.
Absolutely. Obviously, it's not pretty that, people must be standing in long queues for long hours. Actually, Boomy, today I had this thought.
Let's hear this thought, yeah.
No, actually, I've been toying with this thought since the weekend. South Africa is known for Ubuntu. Like South Africans are warm people. We have Ubuntu. And Ubuntu is the thing that governs all of us and how we live and how we relate to each other.
Yeah.
But I'm like, no, man. I think this is the biggest PR BS we have ever been sold.
Yeah.
There's no Ubuntu in South Africa. Yes, the principle is noble. Don't get me wrong, that I am because...
You are.
It's cute, right? But theoretically, it makes sense. Practically, it's not there. There's no Ubuntu. How we relate to one another as South Africans and how we treat each other, I don't see Ubuntu. Go to any government department. Traffic department. Home affairs.
Yeah.
Which I don't. Go to the police.
Yeah. Whilst we're there, on Friday, and I think I made a status about that, and I get to the police station. This is in the north, because I want to share that it's fun. It's the same. It's the same.
In the north of
Johannesburg, literally.
In the richest square mile in the continent.
Morningside to be precise. I get there and I'm like, okay, cool. I want to certify. So there's a policeman who's standing outside. So, because I also understand, one, I'm a woman, two, I'm black. So for me to get things done, you were Sotho, because it comes too brash. And then they're like, you know what I mean? So I pick my battle. So there I am. And I'm like, okay, Tswana or Sesotho,
Yeah.
And then I kind of find, rhythm. And then if I can hear this person. Yeah, and if this person is Nguni, then okay, I'll hit Nguni. But I start with Dumelang Pa or Dumelang Tate, so that it's easier than Molo, Sawbona Baba or Sawbona,
Yeah.
So I get there and he says to me, okay, go inside. So I go inside. He's like, take, that place over there. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'll go over there. So when I'm there, he says to me, so I'm very lost. Where must I go? So he's like, no, come here. And then I come to the table and then I put my ID and the paper there. Then he says to me, he doesn't check these stuff, right?
Yeah.
He takes the papers. Then he says something. So I'm also very dumbfounded to be like,
what is that something?
So what's happening? And because there was another gentleman before me who was now confused, I think, who was on the other side. So I'm like, do I say, come through? Because here's the person who's helping us.
Yeah. He
says, no, I'm doing you a favor. So I'm also even more perplexed to say, hang on, favor for certification. Where do I go perhaps to certify?
Yeah.
I thought that we come to the police station to get certified.
Of course, you're the commissioner of oath.
He keeps repeating. And then he says to me, I'll tla ntlhaloganya next time, meaning that you'll get me next time.
Yeah.
So I'm like, am I supposed to get you next time? So it only clicks now, because now I even open my ID perhaps to say, okay, here you are, perhaps see what you are looking for. I don't know.
Yeah.
What you were saying, maybe let me open the ID. No. So I'll tlaloganya next time. So I'm like, okay.
Sure.
So I'm like, big favor.
For what you're getting paid for?
Oh, I was so confused. I was not the same.
The audacity.
I was like, the audacity though.
The audacity. They watch too much of...
Yeah.
But
I mean, those are, we have rotten fruits, but I also believe
for me, that's where this, because like the Ubuntu part, we need to see it everywhere.
Yeah.
If I walk into a public
It should be the same, yeah.
I need to be treated with respect, and I need to get what I'm looking for, and I need to get it in the quickest time possible. You know what I mean? And be out.
Look, but also...
So now, we go to Home Affairs.
Yeah.
You know, people take leaves.
Yes.
Just last week, I think 2 people shared stories about how they were treated at Home Affairs and how they spent hours and how they had to pay a bribe to get things done. You know, where was Ubuntu in that? You know, there's money that's being stolen every day in South Africa that no one accounts for. And where is Ubuntu there?
I think we'd love like a white picket fence life where it was really perfect.
You know, yeah, because then we people saying Ubuntu, like, say, yeah, we warm. I, as a black person, if I go into a shop and there's a black lady or man working there,
you must first fight.
Exactly.
And first you fight with eyes.
You fight with eyes. You know.
Then hello.
Just the other day, I'm like in a queue. It's not even a queue. So this guy, I think there was a lady before me. She was buying stuff, obviously. Then she left. So I think now this guy is done. So I get there, I'm like, Eta? You know? Then he looks at me. Like, he just stares at me.
The eyes first.
I'm like,
and then?
Are you not going to help me? He's like, really cast down.
So why didn't you communicate?
Exactly.
It's the most little things, I think.
Exactly.
And you know that it's wrong.
So then
like, you know, you could have said, I'm going to attend to you. There is a client, or there is a, you know, okay, I deal with clients, but there is a customer coming.
Yeah.
You know, it's a little things. And Ubuntu is that
Exactly.
It doesn't take rocket science. You know, you're already thinking for that person beyond.
Absolutely.
But I suppose life has made us become tune into our survival mode. So it's a doggy eat doggy world type of thing, you know, which is sad. And I was actually saying in part of our prep for our candid conversation, you know, there was a question and it was talking about golfing, and it just brings me back to businesses.
I remember I went to the world of golf.
Yeah.
And they gave me a coat. And I never went back.
But I think why I wanted to bring it up and in this context is the fact that the same person maybe who, and it goes back to maybe a conversation we had on our 18th or 19th episode with Mr. Bulelani, where we were talking about the township economy and township businesses.
Yeah.
You know, it's known that golf is a place where, you know, deals are signed. You know? Now, this is a guy this is Pat Maslang, who comes from Hure, wherever you come from there, right?
Yeah.
Who has never had the opportunity to play maybe golf, who has not been exposed to golf. The only golf that he knew was Tiger Woods.
Of course, who doesn't know Tiger Woods?
Yeah, but he has never held a golf stick because it is absolutely expensive, perhaps. To get in also, there's that esteem. The audacity.
Exactly, because, I mean, we never even had a soccer pitch that had grass.
Yeah, you play there on the sand, and when you kick the sand,
exactly. So, what is a golf course?
Yeah, but I mean, it was brought about when I was watching a show, you know, a South African show, a well-known show, where the gentleman has come from Ekasi, but so happens to be, you know, taken to the north side of the Kasi side. Now he's, you know, was earning as a miner, but now he's earning as a manager, you know, what is it, a site manager of some sort. So clearly that's a big leap.
Absolutely.
Takes his whole family, goes there. When he gets there, then now, because he has never had the relationship with money, perhaps, or a healthy relationship with money, for him it was, okay, now he's buying a BMW, up echelons, eating good time, drinking. And now also on his calendar, there's a part where he's invited to golf. So now he must be invited to golf. And now, like I say, I mean, golf is known for where deals are signed, where relationships are built, you know? and really you invest in that. I don't know. I mean, I'm still trying to figure it out. I mean, you could have that over, you know, a beer run. I don't know. Like, I don't know if it really is that, you know, that big, but it really is.
But
I mean,
remember,
I think
the minimum amount of time that you spend on
4 hours, they say.
Yeah, 4 hours.
Yeah, on
so
a
that's a
pitch
long time.
of green grass.
So we get to talk about your kids, your family, which schools did you go to, what are your interests, what are your pain points, you know. So I get to know you like proper. By the time we're done, the contract will be in your email box.
And and it's that way. I think I think they also mentioned that it also kind of gives you an idea how this person reacts when they're frustrated.
So I hear
all those, things. But I'm also then thinking, how is Pat going to go in the pitch, and sign that deal?
Yeah. So look, obviously, I mean, that's why some people are actually taking lessons to learn this thing, because at the end of the day, and there's some things that unfortunately we can sit here and have a candid conversation about that we can't change. It's either we're gonna conform or, you know what I mean. Yeah. And I guess also it depends on the line of business that you are in, and the type of clientele that you wanna appeal to and attract. So if your potential client likes playing golf, and you have something to offer to him, and there's something to gain from it, you better make sure that you learn how to play golf. You know, I don't know how many times I've ran with people. Yeah, just running.
Even when you didn't want.
Even if I didn't want, but because number one, it's their interest, and it's the time that I get to spend with them. It's not outside their norm. It's not like now they have to make time to drive to a coffee shop or wherever, meet up with me, and obviously they know that I'm gonna sell them something. Yeah. And
I think it's quite interesting though, now that you've actually included like a different sport, also cycling, also I've got to learn. But now I've never had somebody say we've signed a deal at a bar, or we were going out at a club. Absolutely. Or I think maybe what I'm trying to also
we go to the club after you've signed the deal.
Yes, no, certainly. But I think there's almost some sense of clarity, some sense of I think physical goodness, that leads to you having those conversations. Like I'm saying, is that would be a celebratory moment. It's not necessarily somewhere where you actually talk. So those are, I think, elements, and it goes back to us recapping on our 19 episodes that we have shared with you guys from last year, August, September, October, November, one of the months.
I think it was October.
But the candid conversation is our 20th episode. And we've really touched on some of the elements that we've spoken about today, with conversations with our guests. Like I say, one that we had last week was with Bulelani, where he was talking about township economy. We've touched on e-commerce, businesses or e-commerce with Lebo.
Lebo Lion.
Lebo Lion has also...
Audacity.
Yeah, author of Audacity has touched on just... digital marketing, but more from a social aspect. Absolutely. We've also had a digital marketing business owner.
We had another label from e-commerce perspective.
Yes, that was who I was referring to earlier.
Yes.
And then we've
Smart
had
Facials.
we've had also CMOs or marketers within
heads of marketing.
Yeah, head of marketing within Tiger Brands, Time Bank, head of sales. We've had Bra Albi.
Yes.
So there's been so much that we've actually shared on this platform that really draws quite a lot from people who have great expertise in certain businesses. And I think mainly going back to who and what we said this podcast is about is that as a entrepreneur, you wear many hats. One day you are doing accounting, next day you are paying salaries, next day you are also HR, finding the people for the team. Then next minute you are also, they're saying they're going, you are saying bye, you are sad, you are angry, it's a lot, IR involved, CCM involved. Then you're going, then it's like I said, in finance there's a lot, there's VAT, there's tax, there's too many things in there also. Then you go back, now you must get the business so that your business can go.
Absolutely.
Then you must still customer customer satisfaction, that whole
Yeah.
CRM. So you're also now playing within the marketing space and really making sure that this customer is happy from beginning to end. You're reporting, managing a project that you're having with this client, or whether you're selling something, you're making sure that the product quality is correct, or the service that you're providing. So there's so many facets of this. So it's basically an MBA. So we're like, okay, cool. Let's give this mini MBA some context and texture by having people who actually have real life experience in those different departments. And
Absolutely.
we hope that, like I say, this is our 20th episode where we thought, let's have candid conversation around, what's happening around us as always. And that's what candid conversation is about.
Absolutely.
Is that pet peeves, things that are happening. Every engagement is brand worthy.
Absolutely. And also, would like you guys to get involved, as we journey along in this thing. Tell us who you like to be on the platform. Tag them on social media and say, hey, we'd like you guys to join Pat and Boomy on the Pat and Brands podcast.
Yeah.
It would really be...
Tag them, guys.
Tag them. Tell
Do
us.
it with your chest. Don't worry.
Exactly. Tell us, whatever name, mention them.
Yeah.
We'll try and find
You and Papa Cyril. Tag him.
Tag him, Yeah, and if you have like a burning question also that you'd like us to answer, or find answers to rather, from a marketing perspective, from an entrepreneurship perspective, look, we're more than welcome to, you're more than welcome to send through that question, and for us to find someone who can help us answer that burning question.
And it's not limited, like we say, to entrepreneurship. It is also marketing. Marketing is a big, wide
It's
variety.
an animal on its own.
It's a function,
Yeah.
Whether then it's PR, digital marketing. Under there's so many things.
Absolutely.
So you can break it down into a lot of information that we can get.
Yeah, and also, look, we're not going to neglect other sort of, because remember also within entrepreneurship, like Mbumi did mention, there's an HR function.
Yep.
We had Daisy.
We actually had Daisy.
We had Daisy,
of
from
human
Affinity,
capital. Affinity human capital.
Human capital. Yeah. Brilliant lady.
Yeah.
From a human capital perspective, I for one, I'm using her services, and boy, oh boy, I'm happy.
Yeah. And going back, I think she works with big big brands.
Yes.
I think having a conversation with her, she's always said that for her, she finds women to be very different from men. So clearly that's why they are happy, because they are allowing her to help her. The ladies are a bit sketchy.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are the type of conversations one needs to have.
Sure, yeah. So really, please let us know any, we had Miriam, talking about how to navigate the corporate world and how do you build a career. That's outside of marketing. That's outside, but also it affects our audience. We know that actually we have young professionals that are watching us or that are listening to our podcast.
You're watching,
and really, we wanna cater for those people as well. Because at the end of the day, in as much as we think we know a lot, we don't know a lot, and there are people that know way more than us that we can learn from, and we want to rope in those people so that we can reach as many people as possible, and that as many people as possible do learn from this platform.
Yeah.
So yeah, Boomy, it's almost an hour and we're still here chit-chatting. Any closing remarks? Any parting shots, words? This is the first time we're doing this format, and we might look like we're all over the place. Please leave us a comment and tell us.
So we're gonna be like YouTubers. Hey everybody, hey Sabbies, how you doing? Like, share, subscribe. But it is our, candid, like I say, new format. Do let us know your thoughts. What do you want to see? A pink screen, orange screen?
Yeah.
You want us to sit on the floor, picnic vibe? No, I'm just joking. But let us know your thoughts. And yeah, it's our 20th episode.
20th episode.
And
if you haven't had the time to listen to, say now you just bumped into us and you're like, okay, who are these people? They're quite interesting, but you want to catch up on our episodes. So we're on Apple Podcasts, so you can listen to our podcast on Apple Podcasts. It's Pat and Brands Podcast. We're also on Anchor, we're on SoundCloud, we're on Spotify. Yeah. So really the distribution is far and wide. And I think anyone that's like does not know who we are, I strongly recommend that you actually listen to episode 1 of the podcast.
Yeah.
I
I'm
strongly
trying to
recommend
remember
it.
from that person at the beginning to now, have we changed much?
I guess so.
But
So just take a listen to that podcast, and really you hear both our stories. I think we told them quite well. That story actually ended up ending me a new fan by the name of Mr. Sacha.
Anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Whether you've listened to us on YouTube or any other the audio platforms. It's road to 50 episodes.
It's road to 50
then it's 50
episodes.
to 100.
Yep.
So 20, 30 more to go, and then we'll have celebrations, I suppose, because I think
absolutely.
It will be a
And
milestone.
also, what you want to do really is to also support the community around the podcast. You know, leave us suggestions, comments, tag the people you want to see on the platform.
Join us for a podcast game night thing. You know
what I mean?
If it's a good idea, put thumbs up. I really think it is.
Absolutely. But we really appreciate also those that have been with us since day one.
Yep.
We've got quite a few loyal listeners. Boratiba.
Yeah, shout
out who's out in Durban. You know?
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Durban
brother
night.
Rara.
There's a Limpopian that turned Durban night.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we appreciate the support, we appreciate the listenership, and really, like you said, we're just passionate about marketing and entrepreneurship, and we want to take you along our journey.
From myself, Nompumelelo Sacha, goodbye.
For me, Pet Mahlangu, Giti.
Inailale.
Oh,
it's changed.
Inakhaila.
Oh, Inakhaila.
Inakhailale. Meaning that let there be peace.
Namaste. Bye, everybody.
Cheers. This podcast is brought to you by Lerato Agency and Lenala Beauty.